All right, hello, welcome to Wednesday's London Open session for this week. And yep, right away, starting with the Nasdaq daily chart. And as we can see, we have a little bit of unfinished business here below this low still. So that old daily swing low seems to be quite interesting near term, from the daily perspective at least. And let's go to the 15-minute. And 15-minute is currently in a larger range, larger consolidation in here, near the level of that daily sell-side liquidity. And what's interesting to me particularly is that it left incredibly clean buy-side liquidity here. That's very smooth. I mean, I don't want to mention this one even here, which is incredibly smooth too, but this particularly is very smooth, meaning that maybe taking the fact that we are deep into discount of this range and the sell side is close, we would like to see a measure of run up first to then turn around and take out the sell side. And if that would be the case, the relative equal highs here would be great area to offset that idea. So that's not like a it's not like a setup at this moment or anything like that, but it's definitely something that I'm looking at currently. So the current range that we are in consolidating is defined by this low and this high. So we can clearly see that we just touched into the deep discount of this range a couple minutes ago, and we reacted quite aggressively, quite impulsively to the upside, meaning that if we are reacting off of the deep discount like this here, we could reasonably seek premium. Not necessarily like very deep premium, right? I mean, best case scenario, deep premium. But premium overall in regards to this current range would be anything above the 50% line, right? Which is technically here. So what I'm trying to think about right now is an idea, potential idea, that could frame a run from discount, deep discount in terms of the current range towards a measure of premium that resides inside of the range. And what exactly in that premium would I like to attack? Obvious swing highs like this. That's one way to go about this, but more so relative equal highs. And I have a nice little pool of relative equal highs right here, where the high to the right is lower than the high to the left. which obviously has good signatures behind it. Besides that, we have a little bit of SMT on the lows here with ES. I mean, ES made slightly lower low here, while Nasdaq was not able to do that. So that's also like a little hint there. And we will be just going into the 3 a.m. trading off of that deep discount, having potential to trade to that premium ratifical highs. And note that this isn't even the deep premium, right? It's close to deep premium, but it's not like a very deep premium target, which in my opinion seems or might be just enough to find some trade idea inside of it. Yeah, last thing I want to mention the economic calendar. Today at 2 p.m. We have the FOMC meeting, but it's the minutes, so it's not the statement, FOMC statement, which is way more impactful. This one shouldn't usually offer that much in terms of volatility. Let's quickly check the ES market. This one was a little bit stubborn to trade lower in comparison to Nasdaq, so they are doing some little shenanigans, little gimmicks, while ES is definitely, in my opinion, held more than Nasdaq is. At least that's how it felt like last couple of days, that ES was more strangled, more manipulated, and more just delivered by force rather than clean low resistance type of delivery. But yeah, nonetheless, similar situation, range, continuous range on ES. Sell side here was taken on the short term, and also it has very smooth ratifical highs, plus the new week opening up that could be always a factor for a return to it. So therefore, that's definitely making some sense. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't like to go blindly on it, but at least that gives me a little bit of a framework, a little bit of an idea that I could possibly work with for this long open session silver bullet. And with that said, even though my daily potential draw is still lower, based on the lower time frames range and where we are in regards to that, I wouldn't necessarily be very interested in going straight up shorts while being in a potential very deep discount of this entire range. So yeah, besides that, we have that nice little 3-minute BSI on NQ. And we are going to head into the all right, so this is somewhat of an idea here, I guess I would still love to watch and see whether it wants to make a lower low here or not, or maybe how it respects this BC. So far it trades into the lower half initially, but yeah, seeing whether it would be rejected or not and how it could be rejected would be a nice tell. Even those relative equal highs being proposed to the left near term are very, very, very smooth in here. 1 minute BC is being traded too. So let's see. I'm curious to see whether this will hold or will see a lower low. I wouldn't mind a lower low, to be honest. If it's shallow lower low and rejection above that, I would use that as reclaimed bullish for value gap. But yeah, I guess I don't want to be overzealous about that, but watching and seeing this idea unfold and how it unfolds is something I want to do today within this session. So far price nailed this BC on 3 minutes. It looks like we are looks like we are going to be closing near the low or actually below it, which admittedly takes some of my bullishness away, unless we go back above it and then it's a little bit of a different story, I suppose. But let's see. I would love to see a measure of SMT on the lows currently. So seeing, for example, ES making a lower low and Nasdaq failing to make a lower low would be generally a very, very nice signature in favor of that little potential retracement play. But yeah, obviously that remains to be seen. So yeah, based on the 1 minute, it trades into that discount for value gap here. I like it technically, but I would like to see it. I would like to see price react off of that first. This is also a potential inversion for value gap if it would react and stuff like that. So yeah, this seems like a low-hanging fruit objective. All right, there we go. So we have a lower low on ES and a potential attempt to make a lower low on Nasdaq. But yeah, Nasdaq not yet making a lower low here. Clearly, it returns back into this fair value gap. So let's see if it offers any inversion sensitivity. Immediate rebalance technically in here on Nasdaq. So it needs to run lower. If it's indeed bearish, it needs to run lower. So I guess that would be like a nice little filter in here. If price would displace higher right now, the next candle, without taking this low, for example, while ES did took out this low, and we have this immediate rebalance that would be cancelled right away, then this would be a likely inversion for value gap, as this bullish reclaimed for value gap to go long on and expect high prices potentially. All right, so it would need to repel price lower aggressively and make a larger run to the downside. And we got that stop below that low. But yeah, rather a shallow run and immediate rejection off of that. So that's suspect for lower, I would say. I wouldn't like to see that. Let's see if we can show a little bit of energy and run to the upside. I want to annotate this inefficiency here because it could possibly act as a bullish inversion. Yeah, I mean that's going a lot or expecting a lot into the future, Mr. Simon, but maybe something to that degree could be unfolding, while maybe even this Asia low could be spared in my mind for Nasdaq, because ES already took it And Nasdaq not taking that would be a nice measure of SMT on the lows, which would be indicative of them accumulating Nasdaq here short term, right? So yeah, we did snap below this low. This immediate rebalance completely nailed. So I think I'll be looking into buying inside of this little inversion fair value gap soon. Yeah, so that's this inversion fair value gap at 3 a.m. I left a little bit of a room just in case if it wanted to make a lower low, but I would allow only a slight lower low. So if it goes way deeper, then yeah, I'm probably just wrong in that regard. So my best case scenario is these relative equal highs up there in premium. I guess low hanging fruit objective would be those clean buy side liquidity pool here alongside. That looks pretty smooth near term. So let's see. All right, so I'm watching how we trade inside of this inversion fair value gap. So far, we trade above it. Inside of it, the body is respecting the upper half. I like to see that. And ideal world, we want to see a rejection or stronger reaction out of that. Somewhat of a displacement, right? All right, so that's definitely not something I was looking for in terms of how I want to see it deliver, but let's give it a little bit of room in here. It returned into this lower fair value gap here that should be reclaimed bullishly. So in a sense, that would be permissible or should be permissible technically. We had a run on stops here, yes. So technically I wouldn't say they need to come back for this low, and I would prefer them not to do that. We trade to the low of that reclaimed bullish fair value gap, and the body's closed way in the upper half. I like that. So let's see if we can measure or bulk up some strength to send it to the upside actually, right? Because yeah, if it's good, it should be running. If it's good, it should be having no issues with sending price higher. Right now it does show some issues, which is problematic by the definition of things, I would say. But again, I'm giving it a little bit of room for this messy price action in here, trusting that these relative equal highs are too smooth and are likely to be disturbed. So second run to the low of that reclaimed bullish fair value gap, and we have also this week. So preferably I don't want to see a close below that consecutive encroachment, which we are definitely below it currently. All right, it's pushing lower. So this is definitely suggesting a lower low here. A lower low. Potential additional run on sell side. And that's like the last chance for this idea to send it, I suppose. And expecting a turtle soup around here. That's something that I would have somewhat in my mind. Let's see, nonetheless, let's see what it will do and how it will do. Left relative equal lows right here, right now. A little bit suspect. Well, I mean, I'm watching this 311 large up candle in here that we are trading up into. And I mean, best case scenario, I would like to see price just smash right on through that and don't show much respect in terms of premium while trading into it. So let's see if we can wilt through that. So far, the bodies stopped perfectly on the consecutive encroachment of this discount week. I like to see that, and we reacted nicely to the upside here. So if we can sustain that, or I should say, we should sustain that to see uh, the higher prices delivered during this London Open silver bullet, preferably. If they capture the discount here, if they bought it even short term, there is a lot of buy side because it was dropping, and obviously everyone is watching this low or these lows. It should go there, right? And making a wicked run up higher and disturbing that sentiment that was established that it's bearish, and attacking the buy side liquidity that's smooth here and here. That's kind of like the play that I'm thinking of or looking for. And so far it feels still kind of open, but let's see. I really, because we went above this reclaimed bullish fair value gap here again, I really would like to see it act as support now and send price higher, slightly at least. Yeah, so that's the inefficiency that we are dealing with right now. We went on a closing basis above it again, and now I want to see the upper half being respected. We see that initially, so that's good. The bodies aren't even able to close inside of it. That's good. That's a good signature. So let's see if we can quickly run through this high here and see a measure of displacement to the upside, because after all, they don't want to give too much time for everyone to catch up with this, I believe. So let's see. Let's see. All right, running through this nicely. So that's what I wanted to see. That's exactly what I wanted to see. So now this inversion for value gap here, I want to see price respect that or don't even come back to it, really, and quickly run towards those relative equal highs here. That's what I'm looking for. We have some little SMT, additional SMT on the lows here, because Nasdaq made a lower low and a lower low on the bodies, while ES made a low and a higher low on the bodies. So something fishy was going on there, for sure. All right, it's picking up some speed. I like to see that. Large candles to the upside are very, very welcome. And this is like the first type of, I mean, the first objective on the upside, but because it's not even in a premium, I'm not paying too much attention to it, right? So I would like to see price trade through it. Like, don't go to it and then roll over. I wouldn't like that. I'd like to see price reach up into at least this level here, which is technically where I would like to take a partial or something like that. But let's see. yes, is following with it a little bit. It has a little bit of relative equal highs bias that could be a draw definitely. We formed a nice Bessie in here that could be or could act as an institutional or French drill. So let's see. Right, I would like to say so far so good. But yeah, truth to be told, there are some areas that I want to now see being respected specifically, which means preferably I don't even want to see price come back to this inefficiency. I would prefer to see this act as a breakaway gap here. This is in my mind that's what should stay open. And ideal best case, we only trade to this candle's low and offer an institutional order for an entry drill. Bullish eye of it. That's the best case scenario that I'm looking for to see this develop going forward. So basically meeting that criteria right now here, and it should just smash higher. That's the idea that will make me comfortable and confident holding onto this trade. So far so good. If that's the case, this down close candle here should act as a bullish order block in that regard. That should be a bullish order block. So best case scenario, we don't even return into any of this inefficiency in here. We leave that open as a breakaway gap, and price should accelerate to the upside. All right, so we're in a very close proximity to those relative equal highs, buy sell liquidity. So I want to see a quick run through that. Not give much time to reorganize positions for someone who is holding a short. I like to see that stretching towards the buy side, and note that it failed to touch the order block opening price here 2 times. That's also a little signature that I like to see. Perfect. And we got the buy sell liquidity tagged. And yeah, truth to be told, this is area, we are entering the area where I would like to take something off based on the market conditions. So I'm taking one contract off here, slightly ahead of the 50% that I wanted to take it ideally, but I would say that's fair enough. And that allows me to place my stop loss slightly higher. Right, so I bring my stop loss to cover the costs and better than even. And I'm allowing myself still to offer some measure of expansion. But now I will be more, how to say it, more demanding for the price to offer me very clean and clear signatures in price, right? So this basin here, I would like to see it not being closed completely, right? I can even take this stop slightly higher, or maybe even below this low. Maybe even below this low, as it shouldn't go below that anyway. So yes, it's approaching its relative equal highs also here. That's fine. Nasdaq smashed right on through those really, really, really nicely. I gotta admit that. But it yet has to reach premium, right? It didn't still reach premium of this little range that we are trading in, which means it technically has a little bit more room to go, right? This buy side here seems fairly reasonable still, but yeah, we'll watch and see. The good thing about this is that the position is funded already by a little bit, meaning that I'm in a good spot anyway. So it can rally higher. That's awesome. If it doesn't, that's fine too. So I mean, technically, this area is like the best case scenario. Anywhere in here is like best case for my exit. Nice push through that strongly. So far, it's offering me all the signatures that I wanted to see and that I like. It's showing a lot of strength. So let's see if we can quickly just run towards the buy side liquidity up there. All right, additional small little fair value gap here that we are trading into right now. Let's see how it does. I'm paying close attention to any weakness that will or might come into this. All right, so I mean I feel like we reached that little of premium, a little bit of premium here. I feel like this BC at 330 is like the line in the sand. So preferably we don't go below it on a closing basis. If we do, then that's probably not what I want to see. And that's probably when I would be or should be more apt to be closing this position anyway or something like that. Because yeah, I don't want to overstay my welcome knowing that I'm going technically against the daily bias in here. So that's like, you know, slightly or a little bit more risky type of idea that I'm involving myself with. So yeah, this is kind of like the key area. We are taking short-term low here, dropping into that busy with speed currently. Yeah, I mean it looks kind of scary of a drop here. Not a huge fan of that, but it's completely permissible and or allowed as we actually reached the premium, a little bit of the premium of this range, and nonetheless. And that might be enough, right, to send it. Yeah, so I mean, so far I'm trying to frame a retracement here, not necessarily a right away reversal, but a retracement. This BC going slightly below it because we had relative equal highs, I guess that would be acceptable at this point. But more interesting, we formed some suspension blocks in here. Suspension block here and here, technically. And this is something that if we want to see a continuation higher towards the best case scenario, we would need to quickly trade right on through it to the upside. Don't use it as a premium array by any means. And just use it as a bullish inversion fair value gap instead to send price higher. This little order block in here is kind of like the line in the sand. I don't want to go below it with this idea, and I would really prefer to leave this basically this remaining portion here open as it is, because I'm pretty much looking for some fuel. I'm looking for some strength behind this price run, and for that to be in place, this should stay open. That's why my stop loss is where it is technically right now, because if it goes there, then I'm probably like running out of steam with this upside momentum. So I'm seeing or treating this little run lower here as a retracement from a logical premium area. We framed a retracement, more intermediate term retracement in regards to this little range. We dropped to a discount array in form of a busy and all relative equal highs. So that's also a discount array as we went above it. And now, if that was just a retracement, I would like to see it quickly attack this high here, this short-term high here. So yeah, I would say still a little bit of a wild card, but definitely has a little bit of room to make a continuation. If it fails, it fails naturally, but I definitely see a little bit more potential to squeeze out of this to the upside. There you go. I like that. I would love to see it close at the high. This looks bullish. I love the close. Literally at the high tick. All right, so let's see if we can see a run through that short-term high here. and how much of a run above that can we see. So that's what I'm generally interested in. We did form a fair value gap, a busy, at the 344 right in here. So I'm watching that little busy closely. And yeah, preferably it stays open. Preferably it's not even closed. It acts as a breakaway gap. That would be ideal. But if it would return down into it a little bit, it should be, I mean, still doable to send it towards this short-term high here, at least. So ES is showing some nice little signature here, because look what it did. It took relative equal highs, it displaced lower, shifted below a short-term swing low, and offered a retracement back into this inefficiency here. So that's technically a model 2022. That's technically a model 2022 on ES based on the pattern itself, right? So that's where the pattern ICT traders could be going short with the stop loss above where this high here, right? Trusting that it shouldn't be taken out. And maybe I'm a little bit overzealous with my idea, but I'm thinking that this should fail, or I'm betting that it should fail, and we should seek a little bit higher of a premium first, rather than just turning around here. And that's kind of what I'm siding with, but we'll see how it goes. So far this buy side is definitely in the cards near term, the short term buy side, and then we'll see if and how much of a continuation above that can we squeeze out of it. Best case scenario obviously is anywhere in here, but that's best case scenario for this session. We are going to be entering the 350 to 410 macro soon, so the next 20 minutes should probably see the movement higher or lower regardless, but we probably should see a little bit of movement. All right, so we start with a drop right here. By the way, I can take this off. We started with a drop. We have this 344 bullish fair value gap that is definitely a factor that we could tap and run higher. So far we can't even do that, so let's see how we do. All right, so let's see, we're running a little bit out of time. Initially, the model 2022 on ES is showing its initial respect and running towards this low, which will not be good for my long position on Nasdaq by any means. So this needs to fail on ES for my Nasdaq long to be still very valid, right? But let's see, because Nasdaq formed relative equal highs right now. Another little retracement to some little discount. This suspension block, completely fair enough, with this bullish Ferrari gap, with this busy down there. So big cluster of potential discount arrays where we are. So if it wants to seek higher, still it has the means to find a discount and send it to the upside. So best case scenario would be if ES would take out this high, and that would invalidate the model 2022 here, and that would be really like a strong signature that it's going to seek higher prices near term. But will we see that? I don't know, right? And I guess I agree, or I assume that it might be a little bit ambitious nonetheless. I'll take this one off to make it slightly cleaner. So we are heading back into the suspension block. And now down into this busy here, 330. And we have relative equal highs left in premium, like in very slight premium. In my opinion, that would be like still very, very neat to just run up and take those, regardless if it wants to continue or go lower. These highs are looking kind of suspect, right? All right, respecting the upper half of the suspension block and closing at or rather above the high of this busy. That's a very good little signature here. So let's see if we can see a displacement through that relative equal highs right now. ES so far is failing even to take this low, which near term is a little bit suspect for ES. But I guess Nasdaq is the main actor here. See the 352 down candle here. I would like to see it act as a bullish order block here. Went above it, so it already should offer a measure of support, discount sensitivity to the price, and just send it higher if that's the case. So in my mind, we did enough of work in here in these inefficiencies and all of the business to just send it higher. I don't think we need any lower type of retracement right now. And to be honest, if we would see a lower retracement here, that's probably a way deeper retracement than I would like. So I'm watching very, very closely to see it here to just pop higher and don't necessarily lose this discount here, because so far it's doing a great job of respecting that upper half of this BC, upper half of this suspension block. That's awesome. That's amazing. But eventually, if that's good, we need to see price run away from that. And that's the last element that I'm waiting for. The last piece of the puzzle. And that's basically just expansion. All right, it kind of feels like we are on the edge in here, on the edge on the time that it should start moving. Otherwise, it might just become unfavorable for this particular position. So yeah, I mean, digging one more time into the suspension block. Let's see if we can bulk up a reaction off of that, because the bodies are greatly respecting the upper half. That's very good. But the only issue that I'm seeing right now is the amount of time that we are spending not moving directionally, just going sideways. That's a little bit concerning at this moment. So yeah, we are rolling over to the next hour. 4 a.m. just started. I mean, ES is showing some heaviness in here. Well, Nasdaq is technically still showing some strength. So that's somewhat of an arm wrestling match between those two. And yeah, we are losing the suspension block right now. That's an issue. We are heading deep into the BC. That's suspect. Still, relative equal highs like this are a little bit too clean, and I would still prefer the price to do a run. The only issue is that we turn this into a consolidation, right? We are just going sideways, and trading or going through consolidation periods are just problematic, right? Because every consolidation builds up new sentiment, draws new sentiment, which can change this underlying sentiment short term to deliver slightly lower first before going higher, and that's just not what I want to see, right? If I'm long. But nonetheless, consecutive encroachment of this BISI being respected initially here. So let's see if we can maintain that. It looks like this short-term low might be swept also. And I guess regardless of what it does, this order block here at 327 is my like last line of defense, last line in the sand. If it goes through that, then I be just done. But at the same time, I'm allowing this a little bit of room to move around. So ES made a lower low here. Nasdaq is sweeping this low slightly, leaving relative equal highs, but nonetheless. So I would say that's like the point, the make or break point, where we consolidated. We ran the low of the consolidation here while having relative equal highs and being potentially near term bullish still. Why? Because we have still some unfinished business up there to reach inside of premium. It should make sense to go there overall. But yeah, honestly, at this point, if I could see a run on those relative equal highs, and if I could take something off there, I would be content with that too. Yeah, this isn't looking very much as I would like to. As I said, the order block is my last line of defense for this, and that's where the price needs to turn around if it's still good. All right, well, I mean, it is what it is, I guess. We've taken the short-term sell-side liquidity. We have relative equal highs still in play. We are still inside the macro. So as long as we don't necessarily lose this order block, I'm thinking a turnaround would be possible or could be possible, even though it starts to look a little bit ugly. I'm just trusting it could still deliver, right? If it will fail, it will fail naturally. But yeah. Alright, so we are touching the order block high just now. Just now. And this is time to shine. Note that we formed a little short-term swing low above the order block. And then we made a run into the order block perfectly with the wick, and nobody's closed near the order block. That's like a little signature in here that is looking somewhat of a promising to me. So if it's good, it definitely should or could deliver from that, but we'll see. Mean threshold of the order block, it has to reject now. Hello, Mr. Ramzain. I'm fighting with Nasdaq today in the London session, and he's putting a fair fight so far. All right, so this reaction off of that order block, that's it in my opinion. That's where it should. I mean, that's how it should be capped on the downside. And I don't want to see any more run lower at this point, because if it does, then I'm just wrong. I'm just gonna get stopped out, I feel like. But yeah, that was the last chance for this to offer a reaction, a turnaround, and so far it did offer a bit of displacement, which is great, admittedly. But now it needs to run quickly, like really, really, really quickly. Well, so far so good, I would say. Those stratifical highs are on the way. And it looks beautiful again. Reclaiming all of these inefficiencies with no issues, that's a very nice signature. I like to see that. And price should have no interest on going lower at this point. It should just continuously be drawing towards those stratifical highs, and then we'll see. Then we'll see what we get afterwards. Then we'll see how much of a follow through will we see. And yeah. But here price went above both the BSI and the suspension block. It offered no premium sensitivity whatsoever. So any touch down into it like this or into the BSC should be met with a reaction to the upside, and yeah, the relative equal highs need to be attacked. Also ES, that initial delivery off of the model 2022 here delivered quite some handles, and now it's smashing right on through that. So that's also bullish near term for Nasdaq. I love the close here. So attacking this high on ES, that's technically bullish for Nasdaq too. So we got the relative equal highs here. Now let's see how much of a expansion above that can we get, or can we squeeze out of this little sunshine. So that's what I'm looking for right now. In my opinion, this high on ES is a little bit suspect at this point. So let's see if it actually will be. So initially we swept it just by a tiny wick, and we are reacting to the downside. That's not necessarily what I wanted to see, but one candle like this is, I guess, fair. All right, so we couldn't even close on a down close, so that's positive, I would say. We did formed a small little inefficiency right here, and this one is important because that's the last inefficiency before running the relative equal highs. So I surely don't want to see this one get inversed. So this is like a new line in the sand right now. I don't want to see this fair value gap get inversed, meaning closed below it. At this point, I will also want to trim my stop loss a little bit higher, because I'm more demanding at this moment. I really want to see price just run higher and not get caught inside of a prolonged consolidation, because that will not be very much favorable for me. And I could technically place my stop loss below this last large up candle, I believe, and that wouldn't be too bad. So I guess I can leave it like this at this moment, but if we make a higher high, then I'll trim it below this candle's low. All right, we technically made a higher high here, so maybe let's just let's do it. Because yeah, at this point I have technically like two ways of managing my position, right? I could take a partial above this high, which would be completely good, but I have only one contract on, right? So if I take a partial here, I'm out. Or I can still aim for the full target or best case scenario, but manage my stop loss to like cover a little bit more of the potential profit here, right? So I've chosen the second option here, and we'll see, right? We'll see. I'm still fishing for the best case scenario, allowing the position to run. But if it goes below this candle's low, then I'm out, and I will be like fair or fine with that, I believe. So I mean, this isn't much of a follow through. These relative equal highs, I would like to see it smash right on through that more aggressively. There we go. It came back and stopped me out. That's fine. That's fine. I will take that. I think I did a good job with that trail because, yeah, look how quick and aggressively it smashed lower. It would stop me out with much less of a profit if I didn't trail it. So, yeah, obviously in hindsight, the best decision I could have made was taking profit above those equal highs. I could have done it, but I still wanted to see it potentially reach higher, right? And to allow that with one contract, if I had still two, I will take one there, yes. But because I had only one, I decided to manage the position with the stop loss. I trimmed the stop loss to a reasonable area, and with that I covered pretty much similar to the first cover, so not too bad after all. Especially seeing like this, look at that, look at this like drop lower. I mean, I would be crushed, I would be literally crushed with this run down in here. And I mean, that's completely understandable. Again, I was trading against the daily bias. The daily bias was favoring that old low. I was trading against that, so still pretty decent. Let's see the account summary for today. We got 237.5 in the bag, so not too chubby, a little step forward for sure, and that's great. By the way, let's cancel that limit order, don't forget about that. Let's add another win to the table, 1717. So maybe I will be able to finally get to positive win rate. We'll see. But nonetheless, that was my execution for this London Open Silver Bullet session. Thanks for watching, guys. Kudos to you, and I wish you a pleasant reminder of the day. So see you. Trump candle war news. All right. Fair enough. I wasn't aware, obviously, but how convenient they did that just after running those relative equal highs, right? How convenient was it? Pretty convenient, doesn't it? Or wasn't it? Well, ES completely nailed lower. Yeah. But that's like a gamble, right? A Trump candle is a gamble here. So I'm glad I managed to manage it how I did. Nonetheless, thanks, and see you guys tomorrow. Bye.